Let's move on to our fourth and final main topic today. And our fourth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Barton Zlatica, who writes, "Hey, John, I watched that Ezra Miller video as soon as it came out, and my first reaction was, no way that's real. It looks so fake. But then I read Variety confirmed it's real, and yeah, he actually attacked a girl. The story makes it sound like a group she was in was giving him a really hard time at the bar, but that doesn't excuse anything. The question now is, what does Warner Brothers do with him? And what does Warner Brothers do with The Flash? Thanks, man. All right, thanks for sending this in, dude. And, yep. Okay, look, first of all, Barton, I got to say, I was completely on the same page as you. Okay, and we talked about this on the show yesterday. That video of Ezra Miller came out, and I said on the show, look, it might be real, and if it is, F that guy. Remember, I said that like 9 times, F that guy. If this is real, and this is what really happened, and it is as it appears, then F that guy. But I said, I have a hard time, Rob. I have a hard time believing it's real. The fact that it's only like 5 seconds, the fact that like a strong breeze could knock Ezra Miller over, the fact that it looked like he so slowly and gently took her down to the ground, like everything about it just looked to me and it's like, okay, it might be real. And if it is, F this guy, but man, this thing just screams fake. And so, we finished the show yesterday, me thinking, yeah, it might be real, but I doubt it. I don't think this is real. I doubt it. Well, guess what? Apparently it was exactly what it looked like. Apparently it was legit. This comes to us from Variety. Variety confirmed this. Now, it's a longer piece, but this is just a quick excerpt. It says, despite confusion online over whether or not the video was a joke, because I, for one, thought this looks like a joke. I did. With memes already emerging on Twitter, where Miller's name has been trending, a source at the establishment, good luck pronouncing this for me, Pikrid Kaufhaus, has confirmed to Variety that this was a serious altercation at the bar, and the man, Ezra Miller, whom they identified as Miller, was escorted off the premises. And then, of course, we saw in the video what happened once he was escorted out of the premises. All right. The first thing I want to address here is, so apparently this all took place in Iceland. And Ezra Miller was at a bar in Iceland, and this takes place on April 1st. My first question is, what the hell? Why are you in a bar on April 1st? Why are you in a bar? The rest of us are all self-quarantining. Why are you in a bar? And again, maybe, well, in that town in Iceland, they didn't have a lockdown. It doesn't matter if the government said there's a lockdown. Why are you out in a bar when the rest of us are self-isolating? What the hell, man? Are you that dumb? Anyway, let's put that aside for a second here. The first thing that kind of came to mind for me upon hearing that this was legitimately real was a little bit of sadness. Sadness on one part because my opinion of Ezra Miller has lowered over the past year or so for other reasons. But my opinion of Ezra Miller playing the Flash is quite high. I like him as Flash. I like the spunky kind of weird dude Flash that he brought to the screen. I enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. But I also felt a little bit of sadness of, man, can one dude really be that twerpy? And when I found out that it was real, I was tremendously disappointed. Because Rob, look, call me old-fashioned. Fine. Call me old school. Call me old-fashioned. Call it the Italian in me. Whatever. If you're a dude, unless her name is Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, or Holly Holmes, or she's brandishing some sort of weapon, if you're a dude, you do not put hands on a woman. Okay, I get it. Maybe that's not modern thinking. Fine. Guilty. I don't think modern. Maybe that's old school. But if you're a man, you don't put hands on a woman. I think you a little bit less of a man. There, I'll say it. I think you less of a man. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. There are extreme circumstances again. Again, if it's Ronda Rousey across for you, you fight for your life because you're going to die. But other than that, in the absence of extreme circumstances, I'm sorry, if you're a man, you can subdue a girl. You can remove yourself from the situation. There's a lot of things. And again, let me say that all with the big asterisk that there could be extreme circumstances where maybe that's not an option. I acknowledge that. But to see a dude, and let's even, Rob, let's take for a second the fact out that it was a girl. Let's take that out. The very fact that just because he was being taunted by an individual, forget that it was a girl. Forget it was a girl for a second. The fact that he's being taunted and his first reaction is to run up and grab the person by the throat and try to throw them to the ground. Really? That's how you deal with shit? Holy crap, man. If I dealt with anybody who wanted to taunt something at me, I'd be in prison. I
taunt you every day.
And that's why we do this over Skype, Rob. I got to keep you right? Keep you at arm's length.
You'd kick my ass. You'd kick my ass.
But but seriously. Now put into the equation that it's a woman.
Yeah.
That just takes it to another level. It's like, okay, tough guy. Okay, tough guy. You're a real dude. You're a real man. You went up and grabbed a woman by the throat who was not assaulting you, who is not Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes, who did not have a knife or a weapon of some sort, who is clearly not an athlete. And I'm not trying to disparage the girl. I'm just saying, I sit there and look at that and go, now, the Variety article, Rob, and I don't know if you had a chance to read it at length. I did. And it does paint a picture that, look, he was being taunted, all right? Ezra Miller was, to a degree, being provoked. I mean, apparently he was in the bar. We didn't get all the details in the bar, but apparently there was a group of fans kind of giving him a hard time, wanting a picture with him and stuff like that. And apparently he responded in such a way that was so negative that the owner, despite the fact that he was a celebrity, had him escorted out of the facility. And then when I guess she was escorted out too, he decided to go at her, despite the taunting. I get it. There's some taunting. Grow a spine. Grow a spine. I get it. She's provoking you. You're having a hard time. Then say something back. Make fun of her ancestry. I don't know, but you don't grab her by the throat. So this leaves us in a bit of a predicament, Rob. It leaves us in a little bit of a predicament. And that predicament is, what does Warner Brothers do now? It's no longer a question on if it's real, like I was questioning yesterday. I think a lot of people were questioning it yesterday, but now apparently that's not the question. And so Warner Brothers is now in the middle of a no-win situation, PR nightmare. And I will say this, we can have a debate about whether or not Warner Brothers should or shouldn't remove Ezra Miller from The Flash. We can have that debate. We can have the should debate at some point. And that's a worthy debate to have. And there's probably a good discussion to be had there. But I'm going to tell you right now, for Warner Brothers, they've moved beyond the should. Right now, Warner Brothers is deciding how they're going to remove him as Flash. Warner Brothers has their hands tied at this point. You can't have a star of your movie coming out, a family-friendly fare, DCEU, with a dude stumbling drunk out of a bar when he should have been in self-isolation, grabbing a girl by the throat and taking her to the ground. As unimpressively as he did it. Anyway, that's a side note. So, Rob, barring the possibility that new information comes to light, extreme new information comes to light that we are currently unaware of, that changes the perception of this whole thing, and maybe that happens. But barring that, what does Warner Brothers do? Do they just recast The Flash? Or do they just cancel the movie? Is this going to stain the whole idea of the movie so much? Remember, Rob, Lucasfilm was going to do that Boba Fett movie with Josh Trank. And then all that garbage about Josh Trank came out, a lot of which actually wasn't his fault, but still this whole thing came out about Josh Trank and it kind of sullied the whole project and they just pulled the whole project. Rob, let me ask you this. I know you are well known within the halls of Disney and the offices of Bob Iger, but let's say you are in the executive suites now of Warner Brothers and they bring it up. Toby Emmerich brings it up and says, okay, guys, Neat ideas. What do we do with Ezra Miller right now? What's your vote on that? How do you say they should take care of it?
Well, it's definitely a pickle. Look, I think it's sort of academic in the world that we live in today. Moving forward with this movie would cause a PR nightmare. And Warner Brothers would say, what? You don't care about the safety of women? Is that what you're saying? Are you giving tacit approval to this kind of behavior? And unfortunately, I mean, look, if you're a celebrity, and as you know, when I was working on DVD special features, I was around celebrities a lot. And when I would go out with them, because when you're in a foreign country for months at a time, you become friends with people. You're sticking cameras in their faces all the time. And celebrities are very aware of the fact when they go into public, there are going to be people that come up and talk to them. And there is a choice that they make when they do that. And it's the life you've chosen. And I think that when you are in Iceland, especially, you're not just a celebrity in Iceland, you're also an American in Iceland. You know, you're in a foreign country. You basically are an ambassador, and you've chosen to go to Iceland. You've chosen to go to a convention. You've chosen to go to a public place. It's just like, John, you and I would not go to a bar and get into an altercation with a woman that we don't know and choke her out in public, even if we weren't a celebrity. And you have to assume where everybody's carrying a camera, it was just bad judgment and bad behavior all the way around. And if someone's going to drop $150 million on a superhero film, you have to be able to trust your lead actor to not destroy your investment once you've pulled the trigger. And whether this happened now or during production or during post-production or during the promotion of this movie worldwide, there's no trust anymore. If I was producing Warner Brothers, if I was producing the movie for Warner Brothers, I couldn't, in good conscience, pull the trigger on that kind of investment, knowing that this behavior is possible from our lead actor. That's part of the job. That's why you get insurance. Could he get bonded from an insurance company now? Probably not. And there's a lot of practical considerations to this. I have loved Ezra Miller as an actor. You and I have talked about it for a long time. But this incident has to be either investigated and it has to be exonerated. He has to publicly apologize. Something has to happen. But right now, I don't see any way that you can move forward with a Flash movie with Ezra Miller in the role. They're certainly making a Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. So,
yeah. I mean, Rob, this reminds me, I can't remember which show or movie it came from, but I know it came from one and I can't remember, but it's a line that struck me very, very hard. And I believe in that. Never judge somebody that says a line from a movie or show that I cannot remember the name of, but try never to judge somebody based on their worst moment. Right? Try not to judge somebody based on the worst moment, because guess what? If somebody had a camera, ladies and gentlemen watching this show, that was turned on you when you had your worst moment, everybody would think you're a monster. And everybody would think I was a monster. And everybody would think Rob is a monster. And everybody would think everybody's a monster if a camera was put on you in your worst moment. Yep. I'm not sitting here saying, I don't think any of us are sitting here saying, Ezra Miller is a subhuman. He's just a monster. He's a jerk. I don't know Ezra Miller. For all I know, he's a good dude who had a really bad moment.
Yep.
But Rob, as you so articulately put, this puts Warner Brothers in a situation that it's not a matter of should they do something. They have to. You simply can't. If you are the company, you cannot move forward with him. Again, barring the revelation of new information that is so extreme, it completely changes our perception of the situation, which could happen. But barring that, if you're in Warner Brothers, you put it best, Rob, you still move forward with Flash and you put him in it. The outrage that would be caused by people going, really? You're putting a guy who physically assaults women in your movie? You're still doing that? It's just something they can't do right now. I'm not saying Ezra Miller can't bounce back from this. Robert Downey Jr. bounced back from, driving drunk and high with a loaded gun in the car. He bounced back from that. I'm not saying it's impossible for Ezra Miller, and nor am I saying he should never be given a second chance. Not at all. But I'm saying right now, in the immediate situation, I don't see how they do this. And I think they've got two choices. You either pull the plug on the movie, as Lucasfilm did with the Boba Fett film, and you look at it and say, you know what, this project's been a nightmare for us. This was a movie that was supposed to be in theaters over a year ago. We've never even started shooting this thing. We've had problem after problem, and it's never happened. Let's just cut our losses and not do it at all. Or you say, no, Flash is an important character to us, but we've got, like Rob, you pointed out, we've got a new Batman. Let's just put it in a new Flash. Go ahead.
Well, there's something that I've even noticed just in the last 20 years with the advent of smartphones where everybody has cameras. I have watched a phenomenon. There are people that'll come up to, like, when a celebrity goes out, when you go to a Comic-Con, like at San Diego, and you go up to celebrities, I've always had good experiences. I've never really seen anything wrong. But I have seen people who are now emboldened that will go up seeing a celebrity in public and they'll try and start something. They'll try and goad a celebrity of some kind into some kind of an altercation specifically to get it on camera. I mean, there's a fundamental weirdness that's sort of happened in our culture with reality TV and Instagram. And it's the way of the world. And it's something that you have to be mindful of it. And for whatever reason, like you just said, John, a studio needs, part of the job of getting hired to be to front a $100 million plus movie is to know this. You need to know. It's just like when you as a driver go out into the world, you need to know how to drive a car. You're on the road with a lot of other people. You have to be mindful of other drivers. And for whatever reason, the world we live in today, you have to have somebody that's mindful of this. And it's good or bad. It's just the world we live in. And you have to understand that. You have to understand it.
I agree. So here we go, guys. The question is for you. If you are Warner Brothers executive, what do you do with this situation right now? I decided to make that the topic of today's question of the day, so I jumped onto my Twitter. You can see it simply at John Campea there. It's at the top of my Twitter right now. And the question that I asked you guys just before we started the show was simply this. Barring new information coming to light that changes perception, what is Warner Brothers' best option right now regarding Ezra Miller and Flash? Replace him or cancel the film entirely? Almost 2,200 of you guys have voted since the show started. Right now, 56.4% of you guys are saying recast the role. 43.6% of you guys are saying just pull the plug. I mean, this production seems cursed at this point. Just pull the plug on it. I put it to you guys. What do you think is their best option at this point? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And I'm sure we're going to be discussing more of this in the live questions part. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have some thoughts, and they're going to bring that up in the live questions part.